Hi, this is Jordan, and this is my interactive assessment for Unit 4. Reading this week's text, it was really interesting to me, especially kind of tying it all together with the social bonds and the belonging. Um, so I just kind of want to talk about that. Belonging and having social bonds is very important. It even in the textbook went on to say how it can be related to the most basic physiological need, which is hunger. Um, because having a sense of belonging or having that social bond, even way back with our ancestors, one person wasn't strong enough to kill a huge animal, but if you had more than one person, it was easier, and could be done. And it also created that sense of belonging, and that sense of belonging created positive emotions. Um, and I just thought that that was really interesting. I also was reading about how social identity can help boost somebody's health or well being, which goes into other things that we've read from this course of people uh, with addictions and how their brain operates, and the motivation behind it. So I thought that was really cool. Another thing was how motivated behavior is connected with powerful emotions. And I really thought that was interesting how uh, our complex feelings like hate and love and things that you really have to think about to have that emotion take what our textbook called as the high road, where it went into our cortex and we were able to analyze the situation before we ordered our amygdala to have a response versus um, you know things like likes and dislikes, or a jump scare where your brain just it totally bypasses the cortex and goes straight for that emotional response, whereas I just said a jump scare, you would scream. And so I just thought that that was really interesting how that all tied together. And it also ties in with culture, which I thought was really interesting as well. I can connect all of this to my everyday life, starting with the arousal theory. um, I get curious and sometimes I want to know things. Um, and it can come back to bite me, and it has. And I think that that also just kind of helps me gain that wisdom of not doing that again. Um, Also, the belonging and having that social bond. Um, I know what it's like to not feel like you belong, and how that can affect every aspect of your life, down to being sick. I went through a depression a couple of years ago, and it affected my life tremendously. Um, it started from one situation that was really hard to deal with, and then it just kind of affected my brain and my motivation. And I didn't care about positive reinforcers or negative reinforcers, and it ended up just kind of creating um, this part of my life that was really difficult to get out of. Um, and so I do like reading about social bonds and how it affects somebody, because I can relate it to how I felt and the emotions that I felt. Also, I thought that it was interesting, that your emotions and how you perceive things from your amygdala can show, in an outer appearance, as we cry, or our pupils get enlarged, or we start breathing heavily, and all those are side effects of different emotions that we feel, and how that's connected to something bigger as our community, and feeling that sense of belonging, and how it can create disruption, and not just um, your emotional self, but mentally as well, and how you perceive things. And I thought that that was just pretty interesting how I can relate that to my life.